drama commentary channel is as easy as can be. You get the latest drama out quicker than anybody else, and you get views. You get an inside scoop, and you get views. The question is, how far are you willing to go for the inside scoop, and how far is acceptable for viewers? Well, today we are covering Rachel Reacts, who is an Amberlynn Reid reaction channel who flirted with Amberlynn Reid's girlfriend / ex-girlfriend for views, basically. She flirted for an inside scoop and she deemed this was morally acceptable. Not only that, but this is the same woman that flaunts having a philosophy degree, somebody who would have learnt about morals in university. She thought this was morally acceptable. And everything else. We're going to cover her Discord DMs, other controversies. But before we get into that, let me give you a little bit more information about who Rachel is. Now, if you see me looking over there, I'm reading my script, by the way. So Rachel has been on YouTube since June 25th, 2013. But her YouTube channel didn't start out as an Amberlynn Reid reaction channel. No, she actually wasn't part of Girl World at all. Her earliest videos were mostly about piercings, a few makeup tutorials here and there, and some things about religion and a little bit about crochet. Side note, because I found this really funny, but she has a video titled My Plug Collection, and I don't know why, but I couldn't think of a worse title. I know she means earplugs, but my mind was wondering. One thing I will praise Rachel for is she seems like she has got personality and she has got interests outside of Girl World, and although now she does average 10 videos a month about Girl World, it seems like at least some point in her life she had interests outside of Girl World, and I can't begin to explain how important it is to have interests outside of YouTube, especially if it's something that's become like a side income. But she seems like she did have some at one point. I don't know if she still kept up with them. Now, Rachel's first Amberlynn Reid video was published 11 months ago, and it was titled Amberlynn Reid is Desperate to be Fed, which is a video that talks about why Rachel thinks Amberlynn Reid is into feederism. I'm not going to go full in depth into this video, but Rachel does provide a really good breakdown of her points, and the video is structured really well, and there's some sources being brought up like on the screen, like research studies kind of. And I want to touch on this point because I genuinely feel that Rachel filled a gap in the Girl World community that Young Dumb Honeybun left. If you have ever watched a Young Dumb Honeybun video in the past, you will know that she was a massive fan of bringing up sources and, you know, kind of just being more analytical and a little bit more like a dissertation to her videos. I have a video on Young Dumb Honeybun, I will link it below. Please watch if you haven't, because I find it interesting, because I feel like Young Dumb Honeybun's downfall kind of actually is starting to mirror the way that Rachel is going, and I find that very, very interesting. Although I will say that Rachel doesn't present herself to be better than others like Sarah, aka Young Dumb Honeybun, did. Anyways, now that we've got a little bit of a brief intro into who Rachel is, let's get into some of her controversies. So her first big controversy was 5 months ago in June, when Rachel had basically leaked information that she got from a DM, and she leaked this information in a video, and in this video she tells her audience that somebody sent her alleged DMs between Emily, who is Amberlynn Reid's ex, and a person she calls A. She claims the DMs appear to suggest that Amber was physically abusive, and despite repeatedly saying that they are fake, Rachel decides to show them publicly.
Video is to show you what I've been sent, with the huge caveat that although the DMs appear to be genuine, there is always a chance that this has been created. It could be a story made up to make Amber look bad. The DMs might be fake. This person could just be really good at Photoshop, or, you know, quite good at Photoshop. I don't know. In making this video, I am not personally accusing Amber of anything myself. I'm just sharing what I've been sent. So I was messaged by this person who I'm calling A. A was DMing Emily from February 2025 to March 2025. I can't tell you how I know that for certain, but I know it for certain. I've seen something which, if I tell you the details of that particular proof, people will find A extremely easily. So I can't tell you the proof that I've seen, but I know with 100% certainty, you're going to have to just take my word for it, that A and Emily were absolutely DMing at this time, and we know that for certain. That doesn't mean that the DMs haven't been fiddled with or changed in some way, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there.
Rachel begins reading and summarising private messages between Emily and A. Keep in mind, Emily did not know that these messages were going to be published online. And these cover Emily's grief, trauma, and emotional struggles after losing someone close to her. Not only that, but in this video, there's like this crazy reveal where Rachel shows a photo of a phone screen that shows a vanish mode message from Emily to A. Which, if you don't know what vanish mode is, it is basically something on Instagram that means that like the messages delete after a day, or they delete immediately after they are read. So basically, we can interpret from this that Emily did not want this information to be leaked or let this information to leave that chat, since she turned vanish mode on. I will add in the clip, but basically the message says, let's just say it was more than just words. And Rachel interprets this as Emily admitting there was physical abuse in her relationship with Amberlynn Reid. She then analyses the lighting, timestamps and layout of the photo to argue that it looks credible. I literally can't make this up.
Allegedly asked this question of Emily, which you can see here that I've just read out loud. A claims that Emily put on vanish mode and then sent this message. Here is a picture of the phone with the message. The message says, I don't really want to disclose too much info. Let's just say it was more than just words. So this is basically A saying to Emily, was Amber abusive in any way beyond just emotionally? And Emily replies with, let's just say it was more than just words. And that, I think, heavily insinuates that there was a physical element to this relationship. I asked A to tell me a bit more about how they ended up with this photo, and this is a DM from A, which I'm cool to show you, and this is what they said. You can clearly see in the photo that it's her photo and name. I know it's blurry. I was shaking when I took it because I was so upset and didn't want to press anything to lose the message. So a few things to go over here. You can see at the top of this screenshot, Emily has turned on hidden messages, or at least it looks like she has, because you can see the top of the message that shows when you turn on vanishing mode, and you can see the learn more button, and then you can see the next message is that message from Emily. Then you can see that if this is true, A has opened the message and gone, holy shit, put the phone down and taken a photo of the phone, which that's what it looks like anyway. If you look at the time, there's a few hours between these two things, so it could be that if it's true, Emily took a while to respond, but that is what allegedly, according to A, Emily said. So to put these two things together.
And it actually gets worse, because Rachel herself says that she knows she's taking a risk by publishing this information out, but argues that the Amberverse has a right to know. She claims if the DMs are real, that they support earlier abuse claims by Amber's ex Casey. And she also says in the video, and I quote, if Emily doesn't want to talk about it, that's fine, but I think it needed to come out. She did later private this video and addressed the controversy with this statement in her YouTube community tab. Hi everyone, I've just privated my recent video. I realise this is very much too little too late. I got blinded by how badly I wanted everyone to know what Amber had allegedly done, which was stupid and misguided with hindsight. Thanks everybody for your constructive comments. The toothpaste is out of the tube now, and hiding the video is not an effective method of stopping the information getting shared. But you guys are right that I should never have posted it. Editor to add, for anyone who is worried about me profiting from this, I understand. I'll post receipts of me donating the AdSense to a DV charity. My YouTube analytics will update tonight and I'll share this soon. Honestly, I feel like she should not have posted any of this information to begin with. The fact that she did is crazy to me. I just genuinely can't believe that. To me as well is Rachel has a philosophy degree, which philosophy, and I touched on it in the intro of this video, you study a lot of morals and ethics, and I think morally it's kind of bad to present this information and then argue why you think it's credible and just present it into the internet to begin with. Not only that, but I think another thing that annoys me is just trying to get the latest scoop out as quick as possible to make sure that nobody else, people who might also have this scoop, nobody else gets it out before you. And I think this is just an issue in general in the commentary sphere, but I just don't like it at all. Now, before we get on to the next big controversy, I wanted to add in this very distasteful clip I found of Rachel. I think this has been deleted possibly, where she compares an Egyptian train crash, which, keep in mind, resulted in innocent people's deaths, to Amberlynn Reid's life.
It was a Monday. The #1 song in the USA charts was Royals by Lorde. What tune? My college timetable was double religious studies and then a philosophy class from 2 to 4 p.m, which I resented massively because I just wanted to go home and play GTA 5 with my boyfriend. Times have really changed. Also on this day, there was a horrendous train crash in Egypt, about 40 kilometers outside of Cairo, when a freight train collided with a minibus full of people which was coming back from a wedding. 26 people sadly died and a further 28 were injured. And I'm sure you're wondering, Rachel, why the heck are you telling me this? Well, what you might not know is that this was by no means the only train wreck which commenced on this day, because November 18th, 2013 also happens to be the day that the train wreck that is Amber Reid's life collided with the platform YouTube.
Now we will move on to the most recent and I'd argue biggest controversy of Rachel's career, as she literally has every reactor talking about it. This started in October 2025 and I'm writing this as of November 2nd, okay? This video will be filmed the weekend that I'm writing this, so probably posted around mid-November, and I may have to interject some information at the end of the video in case she releases a statement or anything like that. Basically, Rachel had managed to hit a gold mine. She had received messages between Emily, who is Amber's ex-girlfriend / current girlfriend. The drama is weird, the drama is messy, and she received messages between Emily and Amber. Now, how did she manage to get her hands on such messages, you may be asking? Well, Emily herself provided Rachel with them, and this was just a bunch of DMs between Emily and Amber arguing, and Emily had also provided Rachel with context behind these messages. Now, I'm not going to insert clips of the whole video because it is a very long video and a lot of stuff was said in these messages, and I don't want to do like a full breakdown of this video, but I'm just going to insert clips of just photos of Rachel reading out these messages. But this whole video is full of receipts that Rachel had gotten from Emily, which this video ended up being an hour and 40 minutes long, so a lot of receipts, a lot to go through. Now, what happens after is Rachel takes down this video because Emily doesn't want to have her voice used on the channel, because Rachel had a voice note of Emily in the video. Rachel announces it on her YouTube community tab saying, "Hi all, Emily has withdrawn consent for her voice to be used on my channel. To avoid any future issues or privacy concerns, I've privated my previous video. Many thanks for the continued support of my channel," and then a little love heart emoji. Now, after this, Emily had revealed that Rachel had actually offered to give her money in return for these DMs, aka in return for any type of content, which the community did not react well to, obviously, because the community has like a thing against Emily, they also have a thing against Amber, and there's a massive thing called do not touch the poo, which is basically do not come in contact with the girls themselves, because you're supposed to be a reactor, you're supposed to be reacting, you're not supposed to be involved in anything to do with them. You know, they can call you out, whatever, you can react to being called out, but never ever come in contact with the girls themselves, aka do not touch the poo. This prompted Rachel to post this massive community tab, which I will now read out for you. "Hey guys, I'm exposing my own F up below for transparency. Obviously, there was a fair bit of context which I left out of my last post after I privated my last video with Emily's voice note. Basically, Emily gave me the voice note, screenshots and a clip, which I ended up not using. It was not the rage video, and I had consent to use them with no strings attached." Now, I'm just going to interject here. The rage video is something that Amber and Emily are both kind of using against each other. It allegedly shows Amber having like a full-on rage, and we all hear about it. They bring it up, but we've never ever seen the rage video. So a lot of people in the community obviously want to see the rage video because it is kind of concrete proof that Amber Reid is like abusive, which obviously this is all alleged, but nobody has seen it. Anyways, back to the community tab post. "Prior to this, Emily had told me some pretty damning information about Amber owing her lots of money for the trip they took, where Emily drove Amber home. I wanted the receipts for this pretty bad, but I didn't think it was something Emily would be super keen on sharing. So I very stupidly offered Emily that if she was willing to give me these receipts, I would split the AdSense on that separate finance-related video with her. Later, once the voice note video was well underway, Emily asked me if we could just split the AdSense from the voice note video instead of the finance one, as she felt it made no difference. I, again stupidly, said yes, thinking, well, we were going to split the finance video anyways, so it really makes no difference if we just split this one instead. It is essential to know that Emily had already given me consent to use the voice note prior to this rearrangement of which video would be split. She also never sent the finance receipts she had mentioned. She did not let me use the voice note because of any money. She had already said yes to this, and then the agreement was transferred. I then became very suspicious that Emily and Amber were talking again, Amber deleted her lives, posted that statement, and it was clear that Emily and Amber were not done with each other. I thought, despite her shitty character, that receipts coming from Emily were still valuable, and showing these did not mean I was defending her. However, it became clear to me that my good intentions were being taken for granted, that Emily did not just want to provide receipts, but in fact she viewed my videos as payback to Amber for their own personal dramas. I was not comfortable being used as a pawn in their wider game. I therefore decided that there was no way on this earth that I was going to pay this person to make me look like a mug. I told her as such, told her I would happily donate this portion to charity instead, so that I would not benefit from the decision. She got very angry, suddenly blamed my video for her being harassed, despite having been okay with it prior. She did not want the money to go to charity, she wanted to be paid. She tried to make it sound like she had not given me consent to use the voice note already. She had, and I can prove it, and she gave me an ultimatum to pay her or take my video down. I wasn't paying her, so I took the video down. It is now back up. I acknowledged that I was an absolute effing idiot for offering her money under any circumstances, and that it was also wrong to do so and then change my mind afterwards. At the same time, there was absolutely no way that I could, in good faith to my audience, allow a single penny of that absence money for your viewership to go to Emily, when it was clear that she was enjoying these weird mind games between herself and Amber, and viewed videos made by me as punishment to Amber. This was icky to me. I wanted the receipts, that was all. I was mad about Amber still owing Beck the inheritance money, and I wanted everybody to know that Amber had financially screwed over another ex, and therefore I made an offer I shouldn't have made, and realised that it was a mistake too late. I understand if people are mad at me for this. The portion offered to Emily will instead go to charity. On or around November 26th, I will post a donation receipt here. Emily's response to this situation proved that my intuition was right. Her intention was never to get her story out as a DV victim, and I was wearing some serious rose gold glasses in pursuit of the receipts. Sorry for being a twat. I did get some interesting receipts though. Please see this memo below where Amber was blocked on all platforms, so she sent Emily $1 because she wanted her to answer the phone at 1 a.m. Speak soon. Kiss. Now, this got mixed feelings on the community tab. At the time, people like you shouldn't even be communicating with the girls, and some people were like, you know, we get it, but also maybe don't do that again. Now, the big problem came when Charlie Gold, who I have made a video on exposing her controversies, it's literally the video before this, so check that out please. She released leaked Discord messages between Rachel and some other people. The Discord messages are basically between Rachel and some other like girl world channels. You guys know the drill. The screenshots are on the screen, but I will proceed to read them out. Keep in mind this is like a text chain on Discord, so it is a little bit messy and I will have to tell you who's saying what. Hecticana said, "So are you going to give the money to Beck?" The comments were pretty overwhelmingly in favour of that. What Hecticana is referring to here, by the way, just interjecting, is the community tab comments were basically like, just give the money to Beck. Don't give it to charity, give it to Beck. Rachel said, in reply to this Hecticana message, "I don't think so, to be honest. Feels wrong, I can't explain why, but I can see how it was a huge FU to them both, so I can see the appeal. I might do a poll and then blame it on that, I don't know. But the poll would be Beck, so I've got time to think on it. If I do charity, I can write it off on my taxes, ha ha." Ollie McCurl says, "I think that's the best, to be honest." Rachel replies saying it feels cleaner. Julia writes, "I did not understand why people even suggested it until I reread the statement a second time. But both from an accounts and moral POV, I think a charity with a registered charity number is best." Rachel replies, "I don't know why, yeah, I lean this way also, but there is something satisfying and petty about giving it to Beck, ha ha. I'll think about it." Now, this just refers to Rachel being like, I'm going to basically give this money that I said I'm going to give to Emily. Then I said I'm going to give it to charity. I'm actually going to maybe give it to Beck, like as an FU to Amber and Emily, but I can't write that off on my taxes, so I'm going to give it to charity so I can then write it off my taxes. Already a really messed up Discord chain of messages here. But it gets worse because Charlie Gold posted another screenshot with the same Discord chat with somebody called Jawbone atting Rachel saying, "I'm not suggesting you watch it as it's pointless, but Geordie has said that you offering to pay in exchange for tea is not a big deal and isn't sure what the fuss is about. So that should clear the air a bit for you. Fair play to him." Rachel reacted with this little gif emoji and she put, "Love that from Geordie." And Jawbone put, "So you're not really being publicly hanged, drawn and quartered, diva. Rest easy." Rachel put, "If Jodie says it's alright, then I'm off the hook. Hee hee. I'll wipe my tears with banknotes." Now, there's a lot in this Discord screenshot. I'm going to tell you why this caused backlash. Number one, if Geordie has said that this is not a problem, Geordie does not speak for the majority of Girl World. If the majority of Girl World says it's a problem, then it's a problem and you should listen to that. Number two, "I'll wipe my tears with banknotes" is a disgusting thing to say. I mean, it is gross. Basically, Rachel has posted this video, this hour and 40-minute video, and she's getting the AdSense from that. People are like, it's not a good thing that you paid for this tea. Obviously, this video is getting backlash, but also it's getting AdSense revenue. And Rachel doesn't care about the backlash because she can wipe her tears with banknotes. She is loaded because of this video, according to her, which is so messed up. And to just kind of say, "I don't care about this backlash. I don't care what my community says. I'll wipe my tears from being cancelled with banknotes," is a messed up thing to say. But you know what? It gets worse. There's another screenshot. I know. How many screenshots do we have? I don't know. Quite a lot. In this screenshot, Rachel starts off by saying, "She sent me a video of her smoking." By her, she's referring to Emily. And Julia replied saying, "That's weird," laughing emoji. Jawbone replied saying, "Oh, that feels like her dipping her toe into video calling." Rachel put, "I flirted a little, not gonna lie, I wanted the tea." Julia replied saying, delicious cancer stick in an ashtray mouth, delicious." Rachel put, "It got a bit uncomfortable, not gonna lie, I'm a big old flirt and she took the bait, but that's how I got the tea. So." Jawbone replied saying, "It's okay to fancy Emily, be honest with us, we listen and we don't judge." Rachel did this little shrug emoji and she said, "I'll show you the smoking video tomorrow." Number one, flirting with Emily. Not only have we been through this controversy before when Amberlynn Reid was talking to a woman who was married and that woman came out saying, "I kind of just started this off as a little troll, but then it got further than that." You should have learned from people to not touch the poo because it's damaging. And also, flirting for tea isn't cute. It's not quite cute. It's not, "I'm a little flirt." It's not cute at all. Also, Emily has released information saying that Rachel told Emily that Rachel and her partner sleep in separate beds. So how far is this flirting going? Because this is a little bit too much information to give somebody who you apparently dislike just for some tea. How messed up is that? How absolutely messed up is that? Amberlynn Reid, after all these Discord screenshots were released, posted on her community tab, "In a land far, far away called Girl World, there lived a queen of the Ambabies. Away from the castle in the village where the mediocre stay, Lord Farquaad, the failed philosopher," this obviously refers to Rachel, "fell in love with the queen's ex, Thomas Salamis," which obviously refers to Emily, because when we were first introduced to Emily, Amberlynn was calling her Tommy Salami, aka Thomas Salamis. And people in the comments were saying, "I think that she means Rachel because philosopher makes sense." Rachel, as a little comeback to this, posted on her Instagram story saying, "I just read Amber's bedtime story to the missus and she loved it, heart emoji." And then she put on this little Farquaad picture that says, "I just Farquaad in my pants." I can't believe I literally have to read this out right now. Which people were saying, this is Rachel coping, and I'm not gonna lie, this is so embarrassing. This is embarrassing for everybody involved. Also, the fact that you were reading it to your missus. What missus? Was it Emily or your actual girlfriend? We don't know, and I guess we'll never know. Now, Rachel has actually come back and addressed these Discord messages. As somebody had messaged her on Instagram DMs, they had sent her the Discord messages and had asked her, "Do you care to comment on these, Rachel? If I was you, I would make a video explaining these. I'd love a reasonable explanation on why you think it's wrong to give back money when they need it and have made the community and you a fortune reacting to their content. Rachel replied saying, "This was said before I decided to give it to Beck. Charlie Gold needs to learn to read a date." The person responded saying, "Girl, that doesn't matter. Are you serious? You're an intelligent woman. Surely you can see why this is an issue. Your attitude in these messages are disgusting. You really don't care, do you? Such a shame." Rachel put, "Context matters. I came the right decision in the end. Ask Charlie why she isn't sharing the real interesting stuff in that Discord. Winky face." So I don't know what that means, I'm not gonna lie. And then the person replied saying, "I don't think we're going to agree, which is fine. My real issue is, yes, you keep coming to the right decision in the end, but it doesn't feel like the intention is pure or right or kind. It's coming across very mean, girl, and I really never got that vibe from you, so it's just disappointing, but maybe that's me expecting too much and being parasocial. I hope you address this in a video with context if that really does change things, but it's your choice." If context matters, why didn't Rachel just share the context herself? She posted that stupid farquad thing on her Instagram story. Why didn't she put context of the Discord messages on her Instagram story? And she's also not addressing it publicly because there is not a valid explanation. What she said in those Discord messages is exactly what she meant, and that's it. And honestly, I don't think context really applies here. Like, unless you're trying to say that there were messages before or after that completely change how these come across, which just doesn't make sense. You can't change how these messages saying that, "Oh, I did a little bit flirting to get the tea." They come across exactly like that no matter the context that you present them in. And the reality is, Rachel didn't want to donate to Beck because she'd rather get the tax write-off. Then, after realising that her viewers were not going to accept or tolerate that, and the fact that she was losing subscribers, she was on 60-something subscribers the other day. Let me check what she's actually on now. She's on 53.9k subscribers, and she had posted a Glitters and Lasers video that got 28k views. That was 5 days ago. She then posted a Exposing Everything with Screenshots video that got 85k views. That was 4 days ago. And she posted this Amberlynn Reid leaked video is wild. That got 18k views from 14 hours ago. Now, a month ago, Rachel posted "Thank you for 60,000 subscribers," but she has recently edited the post to say "Thank you for 50,000 subscribers," which is crazy. The thing is, Rachel didn't want to donate to Beck because she wanted the tax write-off from charity, but she kind of realised that her viewers would not let this slide. They would not like this. And she didn't change, as in, like, her opinion didn't change and, like, "Oh, I should donate this to Beck because she really needs it." No, she realised that her gravy train, that, like, all the money and success she was getting off the channel, that's going to change because her community is going to go. And that's just the real tea here. And also, the most ironic part is that she was the one who brought up paying for tea in the first place, all the while claiming she just wanted justice for Beck. It's kind of, like, hilarious, kind of embarrassing, and that says a lot about her as a person. Right, guys, I just watched the Exposing Everything video and I made some notes. Rachel makes this video to explain and address all the recent drama surrounding her, Emily, and, like, the whole girl world community. And she basically had an upload before this, which was the Glitters and Lasers upload, and she says that she knows that this seemed tone deaf, that she had posted that video whilst all of this was going on, but she said that this was only because the events were unfolded after filming it, so obviously she was editing it and she posted it and the events were still unfolding. Rachel talks about how her first Girl World video was taken down after a privacy strike, which she suspects was filed by her lover Emily. I'm joking, by the way, it's not actually her lover, but the fact that she was flirting with her, okay girl. And she's currently disputing the strike with YouTube. Rachel confirms that there was a private Discord with a small group of creators and friends where they talked casually about girl world topics, and somebody had leaked screenshots from this private server without warning. She criticizes that the private individuals' faces and names weren't blurred in the leaks, which I think that's the least of worries. I don't think people are going to be going after these private individuals. They're not like Rachel, they do not touch the poo. But, you know, who knows. She plans to reveal who leaked them eventually and expresses that the context of the messages were lost when screenshots were shared. Now, the next thing is the money controversy, which is the Beck situation about giving money to Beck, but then also giving it to charity for the write-off. In the screenshot, Rachel is said to be saying she's going to wipe her tears with banknotes, which she says, yes, this looks pretty bad, but this was out of context, guys, I promise. She insisted that the joke had nothing to do with Beck, who is a DV victim, and at the start, Rachel debated like what to do with this money, and from videos about Emily's story, and she considered, either donating it to Beck or donated it to charity, which obviously, like she said, could be tax deductible. But she said she felt weird about giving the money directly to Beck, but later changed her mind after reflecting on audience feedback. Beck hasn't replied to her messages about receiving the money though. Like, Rachel asked her, like, hey, I've got this money, how can you receive it? And Beck hasn't replied to the messages. She says that she's really committed to giving Beck the funds, but logistics are uncertain because Beck isn't replying. The next thing is the flirting with Emily. Rachel says that she did flirt with Emily to get information. She says it wasn't romantic whatsoever. She was just, being strategic to make Emily comfortable. It's kind of like, when you make a little bit of small talk before you get something done. She says it's kind of like that. And she also says it's kind of like other people in other jobs who act friendly for professional benefit. A comment I read which summarizes why Rachel was wrong for this and other people in other professions aren't. This comment reads, yes, a bartender may flirt with a customer for tips, but they don't share their profits with said customers. And somebody replied to that saying, or share their tips with enablers of alcoholics who are purposely trying to get the alcohol to overconsume. Not only is Rachel flirting with Emily, but she's also going to give Emily the money made from these receipts. And Emily's kind of a bad person. Rachel is a bad person for this. The thing is, everybody in girl world, life is not black and white. Everybody's a grey area. You do not want to be sharing money with these people who are kind of not great people. Emily is a feeder, an alleged feeder, which you don't really want to be giving money to an alleged feeder when you are also the one who exposed that they are a feeder. Rachel says that the idea that she and Emily had a romantic relationship was like a laughable rumour. She says it was like a silly rumour, like they would never do that. But honestly, I'm not going to lie, I don't flirt with people, like random people. That's just not me. Not even professionally, okay? I worked in bars. I have never flirted with somebody. I just talk to them. That's the thing. You never be like, oh, like, I don't even know how to fucking flirt. Honestly, I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it for free. Rachel then shares screenshots of their final message to Emily, which I will read out for you guys. By the way, this video is crazily monetized. Like, when I was going through this video to get like little bits and bobs, like to rehear what she said for the notes, I was getting an ad like crazy. I think like I've just tried to go back, because obviously I'm at the end of the video. I just tried to go back to get the screenshots of the last conversation with Emily, and I was hit with 2 ads. So Rachel's making bank off this video. But in the last messages to Emily, Emily says, this has all been very hard for me, and I feel like now I don't have your support either. You told me I could trust you. Rachel said, I haven't unfollowed you. I've been following you for over a year. I understand why you feel frustrated, but my worry is that I cannot trust that you won't go back and talk to Amber, because you have done that before, and I will look like a total mug for having defended you. I have showed your side of the story to basically everybody in the girl world, which has worked to your benefit. You threatened to go to reaction channels when you spoke with Amber, and now you've done it, and it has benefited you by getting your proof out, which is what you wanted. I've put my reputation on the line to get the truth out, and because I wanted to support a DV victim. This has always been about getting the truth out there via proof. I'm not on anyone's side, I'm on the side of proving what really happened. That's what I've always said. Emily replies saying, I understand, I know you don't trust my word, but I'm not going back to Amber. I'm not sure who is telling you I'm talking to her, but clearly they are trying to stir the pot. I'm putting this entire chapter of my life behind me. I've been hurt by her. Thank you for telling my side of the story. I truly do appreciate it. Emily then replies, are you still going through with your word to split the AdSense with me? Then she responds, I'm going to assume you're ghosting me now. Rachel put, hey, sorry, I thought I was blocked. Emily sends a voice note and Rachel put, no worries, I think you should make a public statement on your own platform to inform people that it wasn't you. I think our communications have skewed my judgment and impartiality towards the situation, and I think it's best we stop speaking. Rachel then continues, while I understand that this decision will be disappointing to you, I can't in good faith pay you for the video where I shared your story because I heavily suspect that you had other motives for speaking to me besides getting your story out as a DV victim. I feel I have been a pawn in a bigger game between you and Amber, and that any good intentions have been somewhat used. In light of the recent developments, I know it would be a disappointment to my audience, and I can't be sure confirmation of any payment wouldn't end up getting back to Amber and then used against me. I am pleased we were able to show the proof to the audience, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to make a payment to you. Instead, make a donation to a domestic violence charity. I have to safeguard my integrity with my audience. This is something I am not willing to risk. Thank you for understanding, and I wish you all the best. Emily put that I want the video taken down because it's done nothing but cause me problems. I'm not going to make a statement. I'm not posting anything on social media. I'm being harassed. People are calling my family. Everyone is talking about reporting me now because Hector kind of posted about it, and now you're not staying true to your word. How would you like it if somebody did that to you? I feel like I've been used and exploited. I'm not talking to Amber. This is just your excuse to go back on your word. Unbelievable. Emma put, you say you're sharing this victim story, then turn around and not believe me after you make money off of me. All while you're worried about your reputation. Come on, Rachel. Rachel put, as stated prior, I feel a similar way. My intention was to share your story, which has been achieved. You receiving a payment from me will have no tangible effect to your complaints above, which I sympathise with. The purpose of this was for you to clear up misinformation and share your story, not to make a profit. I do not in any way support you being harassed, doxxed, or having your family contacted. I have not contributed towards or encouraged this behaviour. A donation of half the total AdSense of this video, less 90% for taxes, will be made to a domestic violence charity. I will not benefit financially from this decision. Emily put, Rachel, I need to be very clear. I did not consent for my personal experience to be used for profit or public content without fair compensation. Agreed that there will be payment in connection with the video, and I participated in good faith under that understanding. Redirecting that payment elsewhere without my consent does not remove your obligation to compensate me. The video has directly led to harassment and harm, including people contacting my family. It has not been beneficial to telling my story. You just acknowledged that you used my story, generated AdSense income, and that I've asked for it to be taken down, continue to keep it public while refusing payment is both unethical and a misuse of my story. Rachel put, I reply shortly, I'm just about to go into, and can't reply for a few hours. I'm not ignoring you and I will send a reply. Emily put, I'll be waiting for your response. This carries on going, by the way. I'm not going to keep, reading it because it's just a back and forth, but eventually, Emily does send a massive amount of paragraphs, and Rachel sends a massive paragraph, and they just keep going back and forth, which there is no need for this back and forth, and basically eventually Rachel blocks Emily. I don't know who's in the wrong here. I'm not gonna lie, it's not black and white, it's grey, but if you told somebody that you're gonna compensate them, you have to compensate them. I don't care if this is Emily. I know Emily is not the best person on earth, but if you got these receipts from saying I will compensate you and then you do not compensate this person, that's not fair. Rachel does say that Emily gave verbal consent before any payment was ever discussed, but I will say, we always say consent can be revoked, and consent was revoked here. And consent, basically, she first said you can do this, and then she went, actually, no, you can't do this, and then she went, you can actually do this, but if you pay me, and then she revoked consent again. Rachel, if you agreed to post a video, then you kind of need to pay it. I'm sorry, but that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I just feel like the terms of consent could be changed, but Rachel did eventually private the video, and she did eventually block Emily because they were kind of going back and forth. I wasn't going to read all the messages because I know that you guys do not want to listen to all of them. Rachel also says that she did make insensitive and unfunny jokes and that she didn't handle these really well. She does say that she didn't exploit anybody deliberately. She did fumble the situation due to inexperience. And she says that she ultimately made the right call by donating profits and being transparent about her mistakes. Rachel just finished off by saying that she thinks people in the girl community take things too personally. She's not quitting YouTube, and she's learned from this experience, which is very similar to what she said when she posted that conversation between Emily and A. She's like, I will take this experience on board. She seems to keep taking this experience on board, but she's not learning anything from it. I will tell you that. And she says that people are going to discuss that. Obviously, that's part of a commentary culture. But she plans to continue covering girl world content, including a reaction to Amber's live stream about her. I'm not going to lie. This is part apology, part clarification, part defense. I will say Rachel tries to make it out like she is taking accountability, but then she also kind of is not being ethical at all. Overall, I think this response was terrible. It was not taken in a positive light, I will tell you that. The comments on this response are terrible. The messages, she just says there was more context. She does not provide this context. Like, literally, maybe I missed it. I don't think I did. No, she just provides that same screenshot that I have. There is no more context because it's a lie. You can't just say there's context to this and not provide the context in your defense. People are not taking this response lightly, and I kind of agree with it. It was kind of an icky moment. There's a massive, massive rule that's like, do not touch the poo, so don't do it. And personally, I think she deserves what she got from this. She should have learned from her first controversy, and she didn't. There's two reasons I can't defend her. Number one, she had one controversy where she should have learned, and she knows from that controversy how the community stands on certain things, and number two, girl has a philosophy degree. You should know about ethics, morals, and what is ethical in journalism, what is immoral in journalism. And overall, I think if I, at 20 years old, can identify that this is immoral and I would personally never do this for some inside information, then I don't think she should have either. But that's just me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, commenting pushes the video out further. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 2k subscribers by the end of the year, which I know we're cutting it short, but I'm really hoping that, I don't know, by some grace of God, we are pushed over the edge. I'm going to make another Amber Reid video, so subscribe to see that. I hopefully will see you in another video. Let me do my little heart. Oh, it's hard when you're holding the mic. Wait a second. Bye-bye.